Hello and welcome to the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series live tonight for race number 9, the Chuck Hill Trucking 150 from the Daytona road course. Going to be in for a fun one here tonight. Some left and right hand turns here at the high banks of Daytona International Speedway. 40 laps in tonight's race, just under 150 miles at 144.4, and we do have one stage break, the halfway point of lap 20. And right now, some big names at the top of the board in terms of practice time, and just a little bit of time remaining here before they head to qualifying. Let's take a look at where the drivers sit on the practice scoring sheet. Keith Mato on the screen right now, currently fastest behind him. AJ Stravato, who won at Road America earlier this season. We'll be looking forward to seeing if he can conquer the road course here today. Eric Gallion, also very good time. Both of those drivers about 1.3 seconds off of Mayato's fast time, which is down there in the 154 second margin. So definitely has this place figured out. This new front stretch chicane here is a little bit unique for the drivers who maybe haven't run it yet. Eric Hutton up here in the top 5 as well. Chris Simard in 5th on the practice scoreboard. Dennis Faircloth looking for a good run from him today. He ran 2nd at Road America earlier this season. We'll see what he can do as they head to the qualifying session now. 15 minutes of qualifying here, as they are pretty long laps, just over 3.6 miles around this racetrack. Is Chris Simard getting ready to get his laps started here. We are going to do a quick rundown of the points as they come into tonight's race. Just a couple races away from the playoffs. It's going to be tonight and the next week that will determine the playoff lineup. But let's take a look at the points and how they sit on their way into tonight's event. You can see the top handful of drivers, their top 5 drivers, all the way up to Keith Mato, locked in on points to this point in the season. So they will be advancing. Chris Simard just a little ways back. He's going to try and get a good solid finish here tonight and hopefully lock himself in on points as well. You can see a few drivers down below there. St. Fares has his stage wins, which will help him once he does get into the playoffs, but still not locked in just yet. Needs to have a couple good runs here the next. Really tonight you should be able to determine some of these drivers making it in or not. But you look farther down towards that cut line, and with the surprise win from Nick Gardner last week, he moved into the top 20 in points, and that locks him in with the victory. But some of those drivers right around that cut line may be sweating a little bit more, seeing that that driver is behind them in points. It's going to put a lot of pressure on them to perform well here over the next 2 races. And there will be a drop week incorporated into the standings, so we're going to have to see how that all shakes out. But shouldn't be too massive of a shakeup in terms of the standings. So we'll have to see how that all works out. But you see those drivers in the top 20, and then you see the drivers on the outside looking in. Brett Somers there in 21st, not too terribly far out from the cut line, but the farther you get down these standings, the farther away they are, and really going to need to get a win here tonight, or hope for some bad luck for drivers around that cut line in this race and next week's race as well. But those are the drivers trying to find their way in, but the window is closing here with just 2 races remaining. Let's take a look at the qualifying times. You see Chris Simard up to speed now as he works his way through the infield section of the road course. Number 37 V-Speed machine. That front end all taped up on this race car. It'll be very interesting to see how these guys navigate around here. I know a few drivers struggling for grip, and there's an example right there as Gallion gets a bit of a slide on through the infield section here. He'll go across the left-hand kink right there, and then back up to this right-hand horseshoe, I believe is what they call these. This is the second horseshoe. And then down this short chute to the left-hand transition back onto the NASCAR oval. And this is a very difficult section because it's flat, if not slightly off camber. And so you've got to be very delicate with that throttle application, but Gallion gets that pretty smoothly right there. Nick Starling debuting a new paint scheme on his BTDY Racing Toyota Camry. He's got below the double yellow on there. As Simard puts a lap time in. Very good lap there from him. That would have been about second quick in the practice session, but there goes Safe Ferris to the top of the board, the 44 Team Red Speed, who had a good showing in the early parts of last week, but Safe blowing an engine late in that event. He did win a stage. He's won 5 this season, but no race wins to his credit just yet. But good lap time there, about a half second quicker than Simard. Mark Emerson rather, puts a lap time in just a few tenths off of Simard. He had a good run at Road America. A few late mistakes cost him a few spots, but either way, a top 10 was the result there. As Mayato now to the top of the board. He goes a 154.4, about a 154.5, basically a second faster than Safe Ferris. So great lap time there for him. So we have 13 drivers with a time in, now 14. As Dennis Faircloth jumps to third on the board. He overshoots turn 1 just a bit, though. That may hurt him on lap number 2. Looks like he may even just call it right there, knowing that not going to get that time back. But Stravato now jumps to second, only 3.5 tenths off of Mayato. Could be a good challenger here for the 36, who's so good at the road courses. But AJ winning at Road America earlier this season and trying to improve on his lap time here, maybe take away the pole. Keith had the pole at Road America, but it's an issue in that event for him at the start. He was not able to make it to the grid, and then ultimately a connection problem basically kept him out of contention multiple laps down. Safe Ferris also not going to take his second lap time. So Stravato trying to improve here, but the trend in practice was that the second lap time was about a 1.5 seconds slower than the first lap, and Stravato trying to prove that wrong. As Eric Lambert in a new paint scheme on the number 3 machine. Not yet out on the racetrack. Eric Hutton is out here, though, working his first lap. Heads off into turns 3 and 4, and we'll give you the onboard view here as he dives down. Actually, this is turns 1 and 2, rather. Puts it up into 4th gear there, and then braking zone into the backstretch chicane. Able to get through here pretty smoothly. You can see how loose it was even just in that second right-hand turn there. But Hutton still seeking his first victory of the season. We've only had 4 different winners this year. With Seth Hatchell, his lone victory at Daytona. Trying to get another one here on the road course. Currently sits 5th fastest on the board. As there goes Hutton across the line. He moves to 7th. And Stravato's second lap time a bit better than his first, but not good enough to get up to the pole. But he'll be on the front row most likely, as we still have about 7 minutes left. And quite a few drivers yet to complete their laps. Lyle Selfridge, his lap time at 2:01, so about 7 seconds off of the pole time, and there he takes a little bit of a detour. That lap will not count. Ryan Gemmell was pretty quick in the practice session. We'll see if he can follow that up in qualifying here, as he is on his first flying lap. And this is such a tricky section because you can't get any tires off the racetrack or it won't count your lap time. So just something to bear in mind for these guys is they really have to tiptoe through there, and right up by the outside wall goes Gemmell towards the front stretch chicane here. Really hot into that section, but able to woe it up. And the right hand, left hand combo there, now up to speed towards that start finish line, going through the gears. Gemmell down there right below the apron, 155.69. That'll put him fourth fastest, knocking Dennis Faircloth to fifth. And so far 25 drivers taking a time, and we still have probably about 10 or 12 that have yet to take a time, but we are going to head to a commercial break and be right back with your starting grid for tonight's race.
Welcome to V-Speed, your home for sim racing excitement, providing dramatic moments from iRacing and beyond. We offer broadcasting for leagues across iRacing, with specialized packages to help grow your league and advertise your sponsors.
Shot at it, I think, and right now Stravato with that advantage. It's half a car length the difference between first and second going into turn one. He gives the bumper to Connor Horn.
These two have gone all year to get to this point. Jacob Shorba drifting up the racetrack. They make contact. The 88 goes around. The 95 goes around. The 12 caught in it.
Our design team can help you create anything from paint schemes to sim rig parts with expertise in both 2D and 3D design with 3D printing capabilities. Looking to get into broadcasting yourself? We can help you design and operate custom overlays to make your stream look as professional as possible. Our team can create and manage custom merchandise sales for you and your team. Check out our shop to see what we have in stock and how we can create some awesome merch for you. Check out our race replays on YouTube or catch us live weekly on Twitch. Visit us at vspeedsim.com to see how we can help you on your iRacing journey. V-Speed is proud to be partnered with Below the Double Yellow podcast, a podcast for NASCAR fans by NASCAR fans. Listen to Nick and Joe discuss all the latest on-track action, available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. V-Speed is also proud to present the 2021 Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, brought to you by the American Trucking Association, starting January 14th, 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursdays at twitch.tv/vspeedsim.
Hey, honey.
It's happening. The baby's coming.
Okay, I'm on the way.
Hey, buddy, you ready for the big game?
You're gonna be there, right, Dad?
Pal, you can count on me. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Hey, honey, Josh's flight landed early. He'll be here about 6:30. Can you make it?
Okay, I'm on my way.
We
got total gridlock out there this afternoon.
The average American spends over 40 hours a year, nearly 2 full days, stuck in traffic on our broken roads and bridges, while our lives move full speed ahead. It doesn't have to be this way.
Where is he?
Husband's on his way.
It's time for Washington to get America moving again by finally funding our country's infrastructure.
Where's Mom?
Tell Washington to fund America's infrastructure, because life won't wait.
Back at the racetrack now, going to head to our starting grid for tonight's race, the Chuck Hill Trucking 150 from Daytona Road Course. Here is your starting grid for tonight's event. Starting on the pole, it's going to be Keith Mayato, who also captured the pole at Road America, but connection problems in that race, eliminating him from contention. We'll see if he can deliver in tonight's event, looking for his first victory of the season. AJ Stravato, the 4-time winner so far this year, going to be rolling off on the front row as well from that second spot. Rolling off from row number 2, it will be Safe Ferris in 3rd and Ryan Gemmell starting in 4th position. Both of those drivers looking for their first victory of the season. Dennis Faircloth, runner-up from Road America. He'll be rolling off 5th tonight. Starting in 6th, Seth Hatchell, the winner from Daytona earlier this year. Chris Simard starting in 7th. And Eric Hutton going to be rolling off from the 8th position. Starting in 9th, the 2-time winner this year, Mark Emerson, the 32 machine, and now on his outside, Eric Gallion, who's had a great season to this point, that 33 car starting in 10th. Dallas Sullivan going to be starting in 11th here tonight. Starting in 12th, it will be Tony Baird starting 13th. Nick Starling in the 99, trying to fight back into the top 16 in points. Cam Cornelius, winner of a stage last week at Talladega, starting in 14th. Last week's winner, Nick Gardner, going to be rolling off 15th here tonight, and Nick Alves going to be starting in the 16th spot. Jeremiah Vincent rolling off from 17th in tonight's race, and Josiah Vincent starting in 18th. Rolling off 19th, it is Lane Selfridge, the 71 machine, and Brandon Vasquez rounding out the top 20 on the grid. Timmy Emanuele starting in 21st. To his outside, it will be Lyle Selfridge in 22nd. Cody Adkins starting 23rd. Robert Gilmore rolling off 24th. Last of the drivers to take a time, Joey Mines. He'll roll off 25th, and then drivers to not take times, but starting towards the rear of the field. Alan Dice rolling off 26th. TJ Brendel starting 27th. Brett Sommers rolling off 28th. 29th, it's Eric Lambert. In 30th, Kyle Payne. 31st, Dennis Steele. 32nd, Zach Smith. 33rd, Dylan Teal. 34th, Jordan Brockle. And that is going to do it for tonight's race. 34 drivers. We didn't get movement there out of Dennis Faircloth. Looked like he was maybe stuck in place. Now he gets rolling, maybe just away from the PC for a moment. As the rest of the field well up into turns 3 and 4. And we are about to get going here. for a very exciting race tonight. Let's take a look at the weather. 76-degree air temp, 79-degree track temp. Should be plenty of grip in the track, but do the cars and the tires have the grip? We will find out as they work their way through this front stretch chicane. And the pace car going to make its way down onto pit lane. Keith Mayato, AJ Stravato in control of this start, a bit staggered behind them. But green flag in the air, and we are underway for the Chuck Hill Trucking 150 from Daytona International Speedway Road Course. Mayato down into turn 1. The battle's already on for second. Safe Fair is working to the inside of AJ Stravato. The 48 not able to hold him off as they go down this kind of S-bend here towards the first horseshoe. And Fair is a little bit of a lockup there. He's going to go wide. Here comes Stravato straight away to take that position back. Oh, and Safe gets loose, able to hang on to it, but that was a close call. I think there was contact with Stravato. You see the little crinkle in his bumper. So a bit of a hang up there for the 44 who captured second, but now back to fourth. As here goes Dennis Faircloth around the outside trying to make that work. And not going to be able to find any running room there, but does keep it along the quarter panel of Safe Ferris. So the 80 car showing some early strength here. And Safe Ferris to his outside. These two battled it up quite a bit in Road America, but Dennis Faircloth moves to fourth as Keith Mayato already stretching out in front 2.5 seconds over AJ Stravato. And then it is another 3/4 of a second to Ryan Gemmell, who's moved up to third position. Behind him, it is Dennis Faircloth, but that is about 4 or 5 car lengths the difference. We forgot to ask, but cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know you're out there, who you are rooting for, who you think's going to win. I'll try and follow along with those guys throughout the race. Currently, it is Keith Mayato out in front. Zach Smith already in trouble on pit lane. So an issue there. Also, the 40 of Robert Gilmore well behind the field. Looks like he started from pit lane in the Simulator Anonymous Silver Bullet. As he works his way into the backstretch chicane. But Keith Mayato already into turn number 1. The gap now closer to 3 seconds as they work through this right hand, left hand combo down to the 90-degree right hand or 180-degree right hander. And then they're going to go up the short chute here with the left hand kink and then another right hander. And the battle now on for third as it is Dennis Faircloth pulling into that spot. And Ryan Gemmell really loose through there. That's going to cost him quite a bit of momentum. Luckily under braking now, he loses about 3-4 car lengths, but Safe Ferris now closing in, and then their teammate Chris Simard a little bit loose there, and he's going to be under pressure from Eric Hutton. Does the 77 send it into the turn here? And he will try and make the pass on the transition up to the oval, but the 77 cannot get the power down. Simard will hang on to that spot. Seth Hatchell right behind them as well, and Mark Emerson not too far off in the distance, but that's how the top 9 run. Top 10, 10th position, Tony Baird. He's got about 2 seconds in hand over Eric Gallion, who has faded just a little bit. Well, just 1 spot really, but he looked very quick in practice, and maybe it's more of a long run speed thing. Maybe being a bit conservative right now is Dennis Faircloth with an issue. Might have. He lost a lot of ground there. It's some rear end damage. What happened here? Under braking. Goes wide. And then Gemmell able to slip on past, but Dennis having to slow down there, give back the time that he gained off of that. And he falls all the way to 7th position now behind Eric Hutton. So an early mistake for the 80 after showing some speed and moving up to 3rd. But falling back now. Let's look at some battles outside the top 15 right now. Timmy Emanuele in the 19th spot, holding off Josiah Vincent in a new look number 4 car. Let's go on board here with Josiah, who is back a couple spots from where he started. It kind of gives you a view as, oh, there's Cody Adkins spun out right in front of him, and there are no full course cautions, just kind of a warning. Just make sure you don't hit that guy who's turned around. As Eric Lambert going to work on pass, as well as Brett Sommers. There goes Lyle Selfridge. And Cody going to be able to get back in line, but in the 25th position, and now he's going to already try and work on the 71 down into the turn here, but he's really loose. The tire's a little bit hot from that spin. He'll take the position away, but close call there again, as he's going to get into this braking zone pretty hard as well. The 23 of Brandon Vasquez off the course. Doesn't look like he made any contact with anything, but he'll lose quite a few spots. And there goes the 78 of Dylan Teal around, down on the lower part of the banking there, knocking cones all over the place. And he will fall to the 29th spot. Here comes Jordan Brockle and Dennis Steele up to speed behind him. They may end up taking this spot away. Looks like 78 going to stay down low. There goes Brockle to the high side. But Keith Maotto already out to nearly a 5-second lead. And there's Stravato back in second all by himself as well. He's got about 5 seconds over Ryan Gemmell. And then it is much closer from there. You can see all of these race cars in a line here. Back to Eric Gallion really in the 11th position. So about 3rd through 11th under a blanket here. I think it's about 4 seconds really. But that's road course time, which is a little bit different. Here comes Safe Fair is on the attack, trying to make a move on the 6 of Gemmell. Gemmell goes a bit wide there on entry, trying to kind of diamond this corner. And I'm not exactly sure how long they're going to be able to go on fuel. They may have to make a pit stop in the first stage, as Gemmell gets the left sides off the racetrack, but able to keep it under control. Safe Fair's up through the gears behind him, and now Eric Hutton into the top 5. Starting to make some hay here with the 77 machine. Faircloth back up to 6th now, so he has gained a spot. Seth Hatchell in 7th. And we've got G. Mitchell 262 cheering for Keith Maotto, hoping he can seal the deal for the first time this season. Keith with a few stage wins to his credit, but no race wins. After being so close in the first few events of the season, he has had some kind of rough luck. Even though with potentially the best car each race. And right now, pretty good showing here, but starting to lose a little bit of time to AJ Stravato. Last time by, Stravato about 4/10 faster, so maybe Maotto a little bit too hard on those tires those first few laps. We'll see how it balances out for these two. The gap's still close to 5 seconds as they work through the first horseshoe up towards the kink here. You can see Maotto, how hard he's pushing that race car into the braking zone here. Kind of using the rotation of the race car. Really controlling that well, but that can affect your tire wear. As we're taking a look at this battle for 3rd, Ryan Gemmell still holding off Safe Fares. Eric Hutton, Dennis Faircloth, Hatchell, Simard, Emerson Baird, and Gallion all in this group. Here goes Gallion, going to look to the outside of Tony Baird, but no room for the pass just yet. He'll try and cross him over here to get back up onto the banking, but not going to be able to do it. Dallas Sullivan off in the distance with an updated paint scheme. We're used to seeing this kind of a full green look, but got a different cat picture on the hood now. And it says Noom on the back instead of Boop, but definitely an iconic look there. Is Nick Starling in the 13th position. who missed last week's race, really cost him in the points. He's going to have to try and recover in a solid run going. Nick Gardner, the winner from last week, up a few spots, or up a spot, but solidly in the top 15 for the moment. Nick Alves right here in 15th behind him, and then Jeremiah Vincent all kind of in a group, and then about 10 seconds back to Josiah Vincent, who has a little bit of a gap over Timmy Emanuele. You see him right there. With that 39 car still within striking distance to try and get another spot. And here comes Kevin Cornelius, who has lost a few positions. He's got some right front damage and some left side damage, but he has closed in on that 39 car, looking to potentially make a pass here. And 17, who had such a good run going last week, had the pit road penalty late. Ultimately cost him a shot at the win, but did win stage number 1. And trying to ride that momentum to get up into the top 16 in the standings. Behind him, Cody Adkins rebounding from his spin earlier in this race, right at this point in the racetrack. He's gained about 5 positions back, so 81. He's also right on the back bumper of Kevin Cornelius, and maybe going to try and make the move to the outside here, or at least set himself up for the exit, as now the 17 battling with the 39. And Timmy is just going to let these guys go, I think. Oh no, he'll fight back alongside the 81. And oh, that was getting close in there, but they survive, and Cody Adkins takes the 19th position away. Here's a big time battle for third. Once again, Ryan Gemmell, Safe Ferris, these two been on top of each other all race long. Let's Gemmell into the chicane here, and you see Safe kind of more of a strategic line to try and get the run, and he will. He'll go to the inside of Gemmell, who can't put the power down. Eric Hutton was right on the back bumper of them as well, but he lost a bit of ground there. And there goes the 77, a little bit of wheel hopping to turn number 1. He'll take the spot away from Gemmell as they work through the right-hand bend here. And then back to the left, here comes Seth Hatchell. So Gemmell fading a little bit. He's going to try and peek back to the inside of the 77. And Hutton really loose there, trying to hang on to it, but Gemmell will get a good drive off. He'll take the 4th position back. So some good battling up here in the top 5, as the top 2 have really pulled away. And Dennis Faircloth fading a little bit. He's got a lot of left side damage. Not sure if he made contact with the wall. Got a little bit of rear end damage. But back to 10th position. So not quite the run he was having at Road America, but not a bad run for the rookie here in the below the Double Yellow Cup Series. Let's go on board with him. The American Trucking Association in-car camera. And you can see he really is babying that throttle. Might have a little bit of steering damage. Thank you for the follow. I love hot Cheerios. Appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, is the 80 really hard under braking there? Nearly missed the corner. And he's going to lose quite a bit of time to Eric Gallion here, and that gap growing to over 2 seconds right now. Gap that is growing as well is the 36 to the 48. Look at that slide from Mayato as he works past the slow car of Robert Gilmore, who was off the track right there. Still off the track as he lets Stravato past. But Robert Gilmore going a lap down. Jordan Brockle up here just getting put a lap down as well. And Mayato in the tire tracks of TJ Brendel to put him a lap down. So just 8 laps into this thing. And my auto already lapping some race cars. It's the 22, really big damage on that machine. Didn't see what happened to him, but obviously a frontal impact somewhere for the Cheetos Chevy Camaro. Up the road a little bit, Dylan Teal is around in the chicane just as my auto is starting to enter. He gets back up to speed, but that 78 car has gone around a couple times now without any kind of an impact, but it will impact his lap time as at 36, just about a corner behind him. And then Joey Mines up here slow after the front stretch chicane. Might have missed that corner. He'll lose the spot to Dylan Teal. And then my auto you see right there behind them. Running quite a bit faster than either of these drivers. My auto's best lap time of 1:54.4. And for reference, Joey Mines' best lap time at 2:05. So about 11 seconds off. And he's going to go very wide in turn 1. My auto will work to the inside and put him a lap down. Take a look back here outside the top 25. Kyle Payne fighting for the 27th spot with Dennis Steele. And he will take that position away. Kevin Cornelius going the wrong direction. That 17 car was right up there around the 20th spot. Now back to 25th as he has lost a few positions. I think maybe went around while we were looking at somebody else. Brett Sommers up to 21st in the 7 machine. Just trying to find some action around here. Eric Lambert not too far behind Timmy Emanuele. So he's starting to track him down. Now there's a lot of Eric Lambert fans that like to tune in here. Simulators Anonymous group. As he is trying to track down the 39 of Emanuele from Viking City Motorsports. We see Seth Hatchell brought it down pit lane. And that'll drop him back to the 15th position, but just pitted this last time by, so Hatchell with a bit of a strategy move. We'll see if it pays off for him with some fresh tires. Nick Gardner on pit road as well. And limping into the pit box, might have blown the engine. Trying to figure out what happened to him here. Don't know, just... Oh, there it goes, right there in the downshifting section to the front chicane. Gardner, last week's winner, he is going to be out of this one. Joey Mines on pit road right now. He pulls into his box, so some pit stops happening. Jordan Barackle brought it in. He's got damage to the left side, or right side rather. But that is unfortunate for Nick Gardner, who's going to be done for the night, I think. Just barely made it into his box. Here comes Chris Simard into his pit stall, the 37 machine. As his teammate out there leading the way. Mayato has led every lap so far. Started on the pole and about to put the 68 of Kyle Payne a lap down. That's 27th position. Keep in mind these are about 2 minute laps. So that means about on average he's over 12 seconds a lap faster than that 68 car. So that is some serious speed in the 36 car of Mayato. Eric Hutton has moved to 3rd spot over Ryan Gemmell. Safe Ferris has faded back to 6th position. So it will be interesting to see. It looks like Hatchell right in behind Nick Alves. Simard just getting off of pit lane. He is going to pass up the 20 of Joey Mines and the 22 of Brendel off the racetrack. Got to be very careful as he's got faster cars coming. Gets back onto the curbing here, and now onto the racing surface. Nobody impacted as Josiah Vincent, I think, has taken it behind the wall. Don't know what has happened here. The 46 of Sullivan, you see him slinging it through the bus stop there. Keith Mayato has brought it to pit lane. That'll hand the lead over to AJ Stravato, who will lead his first laps of the race. Going to try and capitalize here a little bit. But pit stop's right around the halfway point in the stage, and some guys coming slightly sooner or later than others. Here comes Safe Fares onto the pit lane. Dennis Faircloth also bringing it down. So those two will fall out of the top 10. Where do Hatchell and Simard cycle out with all of that? They are going to... Well, Simard across the start-finish line right now. Hatchell about 3 seconds behind him. Looks like they will probably bypass, yes they will, the 44 and the 80. Mayato cycles out to 5th. Look at the big slide there as he pulls in front of Eric Gallion. Tells you what kind of a lead that Keith had, as he is just 5th right now with fresh tires. And about to track down Emerson and Gemmell. Looking for other guys that have brought it down here or are bringing it down, and we'll see when Stravato does. Look at that big slide through the bus stop there. The 48 car really trying to make the most of it here. We'll see if he brings it in this time. Approaching the back of Dennis Steele. This car slowed up pretty nicely, and there's thank you for the host, Mad Cat Felix. Appreciate that. Welcome everyone. Hope you enjoyed Mad Cat Felix's stream. As we are currently racing it up here in the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series. Chuck Hill Trucking 150 from the Daytona Road Course. This is race number 9 of 20. Oh, Dennis Steele off the course there, right around your race leader, AJ Stravato. Ryan Gemmell has brought it to pit lane along with Eric Gallion. Those two currently 5th and 6th. Tony Baird brings it in. Dallas Sullivan brings it in. Here comes Nick Starling as well from the 9th position. And Mayato currently in 4th spot. He'll work his way past Dylan Teal and set his sights on Mark Emerson. Mayato has been the fastest car this race, but Stravato, as the run moved on there, he did seem to kind of equalize. They were right around 5 seconds apart. Sorry to hear that. Couldn't keep the car off the wall, so figured you'd come and watch the race. Yeah, it should be a fun one here. We are about halfway through stage 1, a little past halfway, and kind of in the middle of a pit cycle as Keith Mayato up to 3rd now, has gotten by Mark Emerson. And right now about 25 seconds behind Stravato. I think when things cycle out, it will be about a 10-second lead for Mayato, but slightly older tires. And the simulators anonymous boys, we've got Eric Lambert in 22nd, just rolling off of pit lane. Having a pretty solid race here, right around the top 20. He'll probably get a few spots back. But AJ Stravato brings it on to pit road, so that will hand the lead over to, looks like Eric Hutton potentially, as he will bypass him just now. Here goes Keith out of turn 1. He'll take over second spot. Stravato rolling off of pit lane. Actually not as far back as I expected. Pretty good pit sequence there, as he is going to be behind Mark Emerson, who has yet to bring it down. The 32 car, you can see how loose he is here 13 laps into it. Not a hot racetrack, but definitely wears these tires down quickly. So my auto will be about 6 seconds or so up the road from AJ Stravato. And Keith should cycle out to be the leader here, as Hutton still has to make a pit stop, but currently your race leader. But that gap really dwindling quickly. And tabs on Seth Hatchell, Chris Simard, Safe Fares, all those guys who have pitted already. Here's a battle between Fares and Faircloth, and Dennis trying to get some spots back after what appears to have been a couple mistakes early on in this race, but definitely some good speed out of the 80 on the road course again. As they work onto the back straightaway, the 80 of Faircloth. Late in the braking zone, going to get very close to the back bumper. It's the left, right, right, left combo here. And loses about a car length there, it appears, as they are starting to track down Seth Hatchell, who's on slightly older tires, just a couple laps. And Keith Mayato up here in turn number 1. He's taking the lead away from Eric Hutton, who has spun. Eric Hutton has spun out here in turn number 1. What happened? Oh, just overshot the corner as Mayato was past him already. Eric loops it around. Points it in the right direction here, and he actually got passed up by Mark Emerson, but then drove right on by him because he had a nice straight shot there. So basically just floored it, and he's back up into third, but both of these drivers on screen gonna have to bring it down pit lane. Currently riding third and fourth position. We'll see if this knocks them out of the top 10 before stage end, or if they're gonna try and muscle it out for the next 6 laps and not make a pit stop. Emerson a bit wide there. But these two pretty equal, I think, in terms of lap times. Their fastest laps are very close. Their, previous lap times very similar as well. And currently Keith Mayato in the first position, but AJ Stravato starting to track him down. Oh, he goes a little bit over the turtles there on the back straightaway. But the margin going to be right around 4.5 seconds when they get to the start-finish line, and not impossible. He's got fresher tires, a couple lap fresher tires. So AJ Stravato really trying to keep up with the 36 of Mayato. Not a lot of battles to speak of, but Nick Starling starting to close in on Tony Baird. This is 13th and 14th position on screen right here. The 98 of Baird, right around where he started. I think Nick, both of these guys about 1 spot back, but still 3 cars in front of them that need to make a stop, and Jeremiah Vincent, one of them, in the 10th position. And he is going to bring it in right now, so that will give up the 10th spot. He'll lose a few here, probably drop closer to the 20th position as Hutton and Emerson continue to fight it out, but the 32's taking away the 3rd spot. A little ways back, you can see Chris Simard just exiting that corner. He's the next car for position. Between them, it's Brandon Vasquez, 25th spot, a lap down, and big damage on the nose of that race car. It's actually pretty interesting. The actual front bumper doesn't look beat up, but he's missing his hood. So obviously something has happened. Unless they just pulled the hood off for better airflow. as we work down towards lap 16. Keith Mayato is your race leader, but the gap now shrinking 3.7 seconds back to AJ Stravato. The 48 car, let's take a look out the inside of his machine as he dives down into turn 1. There's Mayato up in the distance. Oh, and AJ really close to going around there. Really driving hard, knowing he's got the tire advantage. Might see Keith struggling a little bit. Last time by was about 0.6 faster than Keith. There up the road is the 36, and it looks like AJ starting to struggle for some grip here. Got to be very careful not to make a bad mistake, as he did get in trouble last week at Daytona. Had the wreck right after the end of the stage, and was out of that race early. Big damage to the 48 in that one, but right now is starting to track down that 36. It's about 3.5 seconds the difference. But Keith pretty good through these chicanes here. As he starts to put a lap on the 57 of Alan Dice, that'll shake up his rhythm there a little bit, and about to put a lap on Kevin Cornelius, who has not had his best race of the season, but up into 21st, so he has recovered a bit from maybe some early mistakes in this one. Currently last car on the lead lap, as Mayato just a couple seconds behind him. Maybe not even that much as they work towards the start-finish line. Just a few more laps to go. Gonna see if the 17 can hang on, or at least maintain a lucky dog position. But Mark Emerson has brought it down. That leaves Eric Hutton, the only driver in the top 10 yet to pit. Mark Emerson with a 3.8 second stop, so I don't think he took any tires, just fuel for the 32 car. Right now holding on to 10th, but Dallas Sullivan just around 3 seconds back, could get there. But this has worked out pretty well for Chris Simard and Seth Hatchell, who currently ride 4th and 5th. They pitted pretty much the earliest of everyone. Their teammate Ryan Gemmell in the 6th spot as well. He's got some pretty significant right rear and left front damage. Not sure what happened with the 6 car. Oh, really big rear end damage. I wonder if he spun and backed it into the fence. But Gemmell still up here in the top 10. Looking for his first victory of the season. Eric Gallion has recovered pretty well here, up to 9th. He had kind of faded a little bit there in stage 1. We see Safe Ferris has some rear end damage as well. Very similar to Ryan Gemmell. I'm not sure if something happened. Maybe they both got collected in that. But Dennis Faircloth, he's got a bunch of nose damage, and he is in the wall. The 80 car going around, headed towards the transition into turn number 1. And that car has seen better days. Not as successful an outing for the 80 cars Road America, but still up here in the top 10. He still has a chance for stage points. He's got Mark Emerson closing in from behind, just a second the difference there. And that is actually shrinking pretty significantly. I think the 80 is hurt, especially in these long straightaways and corners. All of that nose damage definitely going to play a role. As Alan Dice, for some reason it was showing him up there in the top 5, but he is 25th, making his pit stop. Already 1 lap down, and we only have 18 on the lead lap. And 2 of those drivers in the top 18 have not pitted yet. just a couple more to the end of the stage. Mayato really slinging it up here now. He has picked up the pace, but Stravato not too far behind him. Doing a good job of keeping him within reach. If Mayato does make some kind of a mistake, it's only 3.3 seconds from the first place driver. And just looking at our points and kind of results from this season, Mayato with 4 stage wins. Stravato, ooh, right up over the curb there. That could have hurt him. It will cost him a lot of time as the gap just jumped up a second, maybe even more than that. But Stravato with 2 stage wins, 4 race wins. Mayato with 4 stage wins, no race wins just yet. But looking like he could be on his way to his first of the season. Very dominating performance so far. Closest anyone has really been to him was lap number 1. And that gap just grew by 1.3 as he's about to put a lap on Eric Lambert. This is the 18th place driver. And here goes Mayato to the inside. He will make that pass. And Eric Lambert going to go a lap down now as Keith really struggling to put the power down. But he will put the 3 a lap down. And Lambert currently the lucky dog driver. Last on the lead lap, Cody Adkins up in 17th position. He's just got to stay out in front of Mayato for, let's see, about 2 laps or a lap and a half. And I just jinxed him. He goes around in turns 1 and 2, and that is going to cost him big time. He will go a lap down as there goes Mayato. There goes Eric Lambert. Here comes Kevin Cornelius, going to go past him as well, and maybe even more. Here comes Brett Somers, going to make a pass on him as he gets back up to speed on the apron. So Cody Adkins goes from 17th to 20th and will fall to about 4th car 1 lap down. Just had to survive for a little bit longer and not able to do it. That leaves Timmy Emanuele last car in the lead lap, and he is pretty far up the road from your race leader, somewhere in the 10-second range. But can't make any mistakes. We just saw what happened to the 81. Can happen to any of these guys who are towards the tail end of the lead lap, and it can cost you a lot of time and really a possibility of a lead lap finish. We'll have to see how it works out for everyone here. Eric Hutton just made his pit stop. He'll fall to 10th, but did not take tires either. So both he and Emerson, Mark Emerson right here in front of him on older tires. We got Dallas Sullivan on fresh rubber behind them. Starting to close in as Hutton a little bit of a bad run through the chicane. Here comes Dallas Sullivan, going to put the pressure on. 77 going to throw a bit of a block here. As Dallas trying to find a way around. He will lift a bit early. That's going to allow Eric to get down into the corner. And he is going to go to the inside. Oh, the 68 of Kyle Payne really in the way of that battle. That could cost Dallas Sullivan a shot at a top 10 in the stage. As Mayato with 1 lap to go. Looks like he is on his way to a stage win, but AJ Stravato picked it up once again. The gap just 3.4 seconds. So those two, your best cars of the race, and then 30 seconds back to Chris Simard in 3rd position. It's not even a contest. Those top 2 are by far the fastest on the track. Last time by multiple seconds quicker than your next fastest in Seth Hatchell. But all 4 V-Speed Camaros up here in the top 5. The LDR machine of AJ Stravato in 2nd. Not going to be quick enough to get up to Mayato. As they work down into the front stretch chicane. Keith Mayato looks like he's on his way to winning his 5th stage of the season. as he comes across the start-finish line. He will win the stage. Stravato second. Simard a long ways back. I don't think they'll throw the yellow until the 10th place driver makes it past, and that is Dallas Sullivan, who's made his way past Dennis Faircloth, who's had a big issue. That car more damaged on the front. And I think I just saw an engine, or I saw some puff of smoke somewhere. Who was that? That is the 20 of Joey Mines, who rolled to a stop in the chicane there and let everybody on past. But this will be a battle for position right up here. It looks like Eric Hutton's going to hang on to 8th. Oh, spoke too soon. Really big wiggle out of the turn there. But Mark Emerson too far back to take advantage. Here comes Dallas Sullivan, going to try and close in. He won't get there. But Dallas Sullivan will get the 10th position in the stage. Those are your top 10 stage finishers. Right here on lap number 20. As they work under the yellow flag, Keith Mayato has led the pretty much the entirety of green flag racing, other than when he was on pit road. I think Stravato took over for a few laps, and then maybe a couple others for a lap or so as the field works to catch up. But Mayato, your stage winner. You'll get that bonus playoff point. Already locked in. Already 4 playoff points. Doesn't hurt to add a little bit more to it, though. 5 so far this season. Going to try and add 5 more with a race win. We'll see if he can do it here. But Stravato, Simard, Hatchell, Gemmell, Ferris, Gallion, Hutton, Emerson, and Sullivan. Your top 10 in the stage. And I don't think pit road will be open just yet. I think they're going to have to go around one more time. As Keith kind of slowing up here. Going to let the field catch back up. I think Eric Lambert going to be your lucky dog. Let's see if it says anything here. I think he'll have to wait until next time around. These are going to be long pace laps. But Eric Lambert, 16th, currently first car 1 lap down. Nick Alves, 15th, last car on the lead lap. But working under the yellow flag, we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Simulators Anonymous is an online gaming community. The heart of this community is playing simulator-style games, everything from driving, farming, flying, to the occasional survival game. We would love for you to join us. If you play these style of games, or if you're just looking for a great community, we strive to be a community you can be an active participant in by offering events like every 3rd Saturday night is a late night trucking on Truckers MP. We have a very own Minecraft server with other servers starting soon. Come join Simulators Anonymous today at www.simulatorsanonymous.com.
V-Speed is proud to be partnered with Below the Double Yellow podcast, a podcast for NASCAR fans by NASCAR fans. Listen to Nick and Joe discuss all the latest on-track action, available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. V-Speed is also proud to present the 2021 Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, brought to you by the American Trucking Association, starting January 14th, 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursdays at twitch.tv/VSpeedSim.
I'm Jonathan Proper, CEO of Jobs.com, and I'm here to give you the naked truth about laundry. Size does not matter when it comes to laundry. Let's start with Jugs. It's big all right, messy too, and expensive. You know why? Lots of plastic, lots of water, shipped all over the country, from factory to warehouse to retail. That's what you're paying for. It's a dinosaur. And we all know dinosaurs are extinct. Meet our imitators. This is your average detergent pod. It has 20 plus chemicals with names nobody can pronounce. Nice colors. I hope they don't stain. I know color doesn't clean. Would you take a bath in either of these? No way. That's why we developed Drops. Drops is dye-free, MPE-free, phosphate-free, animal cruelty-free. So free, it's freaking awesome. We make Drops with only 6 safe ingredients, certified by the EPA. Drops is tough on dirt, but gentle enough for a baby's skin. It's so gentle, I'm taking a bath in it. Doing laundry with Drops is hard to up. 1 drop equals 1 load. Now, can we talk about my package? 100% recyclable. Manufacturing Drops ourselves and distributing directly helps us cut out the middleman and reduce transportation costs. With delivery plans as low as $4 a month, the average family can save $100 a year. Hello? What are you saying? The cleanest clothes at the lowest price? You're damn right it's a great deal. Thanks for calling. Shipping is always free. You choose the product and plan that's right for you, and we'll drop Drops at your door. The naked truth is that Drops makes laundry better and life easier. Every Drops counts, saving money, plastic, water, and time. So go to drops.com. The first one's on us.
Hey, honey.
It's happening. The baby's coming.
Okay, I'm on the way.
Hey, buddy. You ready for the big game?
You're gonna be there, right, Dad?
You can count on me. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Hey, honey, Josh's flight landed early. He'll be about 6:30. Can you make it?
Okay. I'm on my way.
We've got total gridlock out there this afternoon.
The average American spends over 40 hours a year, nearly 2 full days, stuck in traffic on our broken roads and bridges, while our lives move full speed ahead. It doesn't have to be this way.
Where is he?
Husband's on his way.
It's time for Washington to get America moving again by finally funding our country's infrastructure.
Where's Mom?
Tell Washington to fund America's infrastructure, because life won't wait.
Back at the racetrack now, working under our first caution of the night. Stage break for stage number 1. All the leaders did bring it down pit road. Right now, Ryan Gemmell. Not sure what's going on for Ryan. Showing him as the race leader. I'm not sure if he got some kind of a wave around or what happened here, but that does not seem correct. Keith Maato should be scored your race leader. He has led a good portion of this race. AJ Stravado there behind him. Got a few lap cars kind of intermixed here with the leaders, but right there in front of him you see Timmy Emanuele. So far, quite a few drivers have yet to bring it down pit lane, as they are lap machines. We'll see what they elect to do here, if they're going to take any kind of a wave around. So Timmy Emanuele, Alan Dice, Brandon Vasquez, Lyle Selfridge, handful of others. Kevin Cornelius included in this. Looks like Eric Lambert on pit road right now. He has completed his service and will be back on the lead lap in 16th position. But Ryan Gemmell, not exactly sure what's going on here. He pulled well past the field and now just parked by the entrance to pit road. Maybe had to step away from his rig. But want to give a big shout out to all the sponsors that you saw there under the commercial break. And we'll see if anybody brings it back down here. Stravado, not going to. Here comes Eric Hutton onto pit road. He did just pit. Maybe just going to top up on some fuel here. Maato will inherit the race lead. And all those drivers up there in front of him going to take a wave around. They may have some trouble. making it to the end of the race. But 21 drivers on the lead lap. Cody Adkins scored a lap down. Pace car lights are off, so they're going to go double file here. I think Cody's going to have to drop to the rear most likely. So he's going to pull well wide here. And there they go, right on past him. So he will surrender all those spots. This will be interesting. A shorter run here in stage 2. Mayato, who let's take a look at his info here. He's led 20 laps, pretty much the entirety of stage 1. Was the fastest car for most of it, but Stravato with the fresher tires at the end did close the gap up a bit, about 2.5 seconds, but was still well behind. But he has led 3 laps. Chris Simard up to 3rd now. He's got Ryan Gemmell in 4th. Say Ferez, who came out of the gate strong, was right up there in 2nd, and then a couple mistakes. He was like straight away back to the 4th or 5th spot. Eric Gallion has bounced back a bit after being outside the top 10. Mark Emerson with the bold strategy call, right now in 7th. Dallas Sullivan currently in 8th after getting the 10th spot there in the stage. Seth Hatchell losing a few spots on pit road. A long stop there at 21.1 seconds. Tony Baird in 10th right now. Nick Starling gains a couple. He is up to 11th. Dennis Faircloth, an extended stay as well. They did repair the nose on that car a bit, but has not been the cleanest race for the 80. Who's had a lot of success early on in this season, but Keith Mayato going to be your race leader for this restart. Let's take a quick look at the recap. Just the 1 caution for the stage and 2 lead changes. One from Mayato to Stravato, and the next from Stravato to Mayato. It's kind of fun to say. If you're enjoying the race so far, consider following or subscribing, and also check us out at the links on your screen. Really appreciate you checking us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, following along there to stay up to date with what we're doing throughout the week. Right now streaming on Wednesdays and Thursdays here on our Twitch channel. You can find race replays on YouTube. As the pace car gonna make that hard left-hand turn onto pit road, it's Keith Mayato and AJ Stravato. And the green flag back in the air for the Chuck Hill Trucking 150. The field a bit staggered here as they dive down into turn 1. Mayato really hard into the corner, maybe a little lockup right there, but overshoots the turn. Stravato gonna take the lead away. And then Chris Simard to 2nd to Keith Mayato. A mistake there on the initial restart. And we'll have to see if he can regroup here. It looked like he went in hot. He got a big pull on the 48 straight out of the gate, and then it was a little bit too much for those tires to handle as he shot wide, and now working on his teammate Chris Simard. We'll see if Chris gives him an easy pass here, as he is going to go wide. Keith is going to go right on past, so Chris not posing any significant challenge there. But AJ Stravato, a common spot for this 48 car to be, is in the front. 4 race wins this season. We do want to welcome Blazer Pete to the chat. Welcome to the race. Keith Mayato was your race leader headed into turn number 1 on this restart, but AJ Stravato takes it away as Keith overshot it, and now the margin about 1.3 seconds. We'll see if Keith can reel him back in. Chris Simard 3rd, Eric Gallion up to 4th. A good run for Eric after he had a very solid performance at Road America. Dallas Sullivan to 5th. Not seeing Ryan Gemmell. He's all the way back to 14th in the 6 car. As it appears, quite a few drivers did just bring it down. Oh, well, I'm not sure. They brought it down. They just weren't able to get all the way back. These are the wave around cars. Brett Sommers in 17th. Already about a half lap, or, well, about a quarter lap down. And they could potentially afford to bring it down pit lane here. We'll see if they do choose to do that. But Stravato out in front, 1.1 seconds over Keith Mayato. And this is another situation where the 48 necessarily not dominating a race, but he's in position to potentially capitalize and win another one. Thank you for the subscription, Mad Cat Felix. First the host and the subscription. Thank you so much. Appreciate you tuning in and supporting us here on V-Speed. It's Chris Simard. He's doing a good job. Look at Eric Gallion, though, a bit wide there. Able to keep it on the racing surface. It's the Jolly Rancher number 33. Fun paint scheme there. I like some Jolly Ranchers now and then. The 46 of Dallas Sullivan. Up here in the top 5. How about that? I know Dallas and team for Loaded Dice Racing and Below the Double Yellow Racing, those guys all kind of work together. They've done a few endurance events. And that road course racing appears to have paid off a bit. As Dallas had I think a decent run at Road America. And then so far, a pretty successful event here. 10th in stage 1 and right now in the top 5. But this battle for the lead is starting to tighten up as Keith Mayato has closed into under half a second, and AJ Stravato trying to mind his tires up there, I think, but Keith getting a little bit of draft now and also being very quick here in the first 5 to 10 laps of a run. AJ down into turn 1. Keith trying to cut that distance even more. Out of the corner, it's about 5-6 car lengths the difference. And headed towards the first horseshoe here. 48 under braking a little bit squirrely there. Keith, nice and smooth, hits the apex right up to the back bumper. The gap just 0.3. You see Keith closes in right there. He's going to try and make the move. Looks to the inside of the 48, not going to find any space to make it happen there. He gets a bit loose under braking, and that will cost him some time. Really sent it in there deep. But the battle for the race lead is on. AJ Stravato has it. Keith Mayato wants it back. As they work up onto the high banks here. First and second, 3 car lengths the difference. And so difficult to find a spot to make the pass, but only 0.2 of a second. And that's really just a slight mistake from the 48 to open up the door maybe. Oh, but Keith up on the curbing nearly sent that car around. And you can see how hard he's pushing it. Let's go back and take a look there. That was a close call. Wow, that car up on 2 wheels twice. And look how much that affected the time. Could have also damaged the race car. Was down to 0.2 of a second, and now it's up to almost 2 seconds for Mayato. And 48 probably breathing a sigh of relief there. He's got a bit of a margin, bit of a cushion to rely on. Just 2 seconds, but so hard to make up time on road courses. I mean, you could be smooth and I mean, that time by the 1.4 seconds slower for Mayato because of that one mistake. If you just overextend the car slightly, it very easily costs you a lot. As oh, there goes the 48 on the curbing there. Didn't cost him any time, but it is starting to shrink already. Looks like AJ maybe a bit wide through that turn. And you can see Keith already starting to reel him back in. 1.4 seconds the difference. But those mistakes on the curb's going to make Keith have to drive a little bit harder. And that is so tough to do. To find that line between being aggressive and being patient. when attacking the corners at a road course. Chris Simard back here in third. Really good race for Chris, who's been up in this third spot since the pit cycle completed. Eric Gallion a couple seconds back in fourth. Dallas Sullivan a few more seconds back in fifth, and he's got about 2.5 seconds over Mark Emerson, who's got big left side and right side damage. I think some mistakes there. And it's fun to watch those guys make their way through the bus stop. Seth Hatchell up to 7th. Jeremiah Vincent, who had kind of a slow start to this race, right now in the 8th position. A little nose damage on the machine, the Budweiser machine, but not too bad at all. Right behind them, Nick Starling, Dennis Faircloth up here in the top 10. So Nick needing a good run. Didn't get the stage points, but right now in a pretty solid spot to earn some points. If he can get out of here with the top 10. Let's take a look a little farther back. Ryan Gemmell, Safe Fair is both of these guys who are up there in the top 10 for a lot of this race with some damage now. Eric Hutton starting to make a move on Tony Baird. They go side by side. Baird down low gets a pretty good run. We've seen the 77 struggle for grip through there, but still side by side. I think Hutton is going to win this battle, but he's going to have a tight angle there, able to get through it. Meanwhile, up at the front, Keith Maato starting to close in even more. It's right around 1 second now. Last time by 0.6 faster for Maato. It's down into the chicane they go, and the gap growing back to Simard. Right now, almost 7.5 seconds from the back bumper of the 36. We can hear they don't quite make it to top gear there. Oh, and Servato, a little wheel hop. Able to ride that, and Maato up on the curb again. Actually lost time through that sequence. So AJ kind of using the lack of rear grip, almost drifting the car around. As both of them cleanly through turns 1, now through the little S-bend there. Chris Simard is close enough to take advantage if somehow those two get together late in this event. Eric Gallion also not too far back, just 10 seconds off your race leader. But they are starting to catch up to some lap traffic. I think out the front, you might be able to see Dennis Steele. There's a few cars up here. That looks like Timmy Emanuele. On board with AJ Stravato, who's led 8 laps now, but the gap starting to shrink. Maato down to under 1 second. Pierce on board with Keith. Under 0.8 now as they work down the back straightaway. Keith really late in the braking zone here. But so smooth through this section and really waiting on the throttle to get going again. 48 had a little wiggle there. Distance remains about the same between these two. Seems like Stravato really good through that last chicane. Maato doesn't quite have it down as good as the 48, but down here in turn 1, 48 a little bit squirrely there under braking. He's starting to close in on that 39, and that can really throw off your rhythm when you're trying to get up and past a lap car here. as he is really hard on the brakes, nearly loses the back end, and he is really struggling for grip. Now here comes Mayato, the car just about 2 or 3 car lengths back as they work through the infield section. Now 6/10 the gap, and Mayato and Stravato really sideways through there as we're under 10 laps to go. It is really go time, and you can see AJ really wide there. That is going to be a big mistake. Here comes Mayato, 1 car length behind, really putting the pressure on, and AJ going to have to start pushing harder than I think he wants, and harder than he has been up onto the high banks here. Extends the gap by a couple of car lengths, so very good transitionally for the 48. Good on the front stretch chicane and really good on that section of the racetrack. That's where he's been beating Mayato, but Keith really quite a bit faster in a lot of other sections. Last time by was about a ½ second faster than Stravato. It's just about timing the pass. And you can see right here, this might be a good run for the 36, but not quite able to close the gap just enough. But he's going to jump to the high side. Down into the front stretch chicane where the 48's been so good. Locks up the brakes a little bit. And on the curbs there, that does affect the run out. Here comes Mayato, really closing, but hard to get the power down right towards the back bumper, though. This is the battle for the lead. 9 laps to go. Mayato looks to the outside, not going to try and make the move just yet, but Stravato almost losing the back end in turn number 1. Keith trying to get back underneath, can't get to his inside. They'll ride 1-2 to the next set of corners here. But now Mayato sees blood in the water, I think. Oh, maybe a little contact, not sure. But very close to the 48, losing the back end under braking. Keith Mayato back to the point. And Stravato might have seen its chance to win this race go out the window, but Keith, after a mistake on the restart, rebounding nicely, but it is not over. I'd expect to see a lot from that 48 car, but he has really hurt the rear tires here. Look at the drift right there. But one mistake by Mayato, it's anybody's race. And Chris Simard starting to fall a little too far back. But a heck of a race for Chris. He's been 3rd best, and nothing wrong with that at all. Needs a good run here. I think he will pretty much lock himself in with this performance tonight. Eric Gallion has had a great season. Actually enters this race 7th in the standings. And I think going to pretty much be a lock after tonight. So good job there for Eric if he can finish this race out. But how about Keith Mayato, who's had so many races slip through his fingers this year? And it is not over yet. He could still have an issue. There's still lap cars up in front, and AJ Stravato never is going to give up. You know that. That 48 car, though, really falling off here. Somehow Keith was able to track him down, keep the tires underneath, and that time by 1.7 faster than Stravato, and that's about the margin between them. As there goes Brandon Vasquez off into the grass. Going to give those guys plenty of room to battle it out. And Brandon back in 18th right now. He entered this race 31st in the standings and not going to be able to do anything to lock himself in. He'll need, it's going to be a win in your in situation next week for quite a few of these drivers. There goes Vasquez actually off the track in the background. Let's see if there's any other battles. Looks like Dallas Sullivan gets passed up by Seth Hatchell. So Hatchell back up into the top 5. Pretty good run for Seth here tonight. I believe finished in the top 5 in the stage. Might have been 4th even. And we do have 7 cars behind the wall in tonight's race. Actually, probably 8. TJ Brendel still on pit lane, but he's been there for over 20 minutes, so I'm assuming that car's engine is gone. Timmy Emanuele, the last of the drivers, still on the track. He is 2 laps down. You saw him get passed up not too terribly long ago to go that second lap down. In 26th position, not the race that Timmy needed. Actually entered 14th in the standings, but this could knock him out of the top 16. Really needed to have to capitalize on where he was in the standings, but not going to be able to do so tonight. Another driver I'm a bit surprised by, Ryan Gemmell, had some good speed early on in this one. Jeremiah Vincent was also up there in the top 10 not long ago, but in 14th now, with some more nose damage on the number 9 car and a bit of right side damage, as Nick Alves doing a bit of landscaping. I don't know what that cone did to him, but he definitely took that thing out. Eric Lambert, though, 16th. He's going to try and capitalize on the 24 car being slow down here as they work towards the front stretch chicane. This could get a little bit dicey. Kevin Cornelius sneaks in there, but Kevin is a lap down right now in the 21st position. He's actually going to go around, or nearly around. He saves it. But not the race that Kevin needed either. He entered into tonight's race 18th in the standings and needed a bit more than that, than the performance he's had so far, to get closer to locking himself in. As the gap's still right around 1.5 seconds, so Mayato was able to get up there past the 48, and now they've both kind of fallen off equally. I think AJ's kind of regrouped a bit, cooled the tires down. Now it's on him to be the pursuer. And see if he can make up some time. It'll be 6 laps to go when they get to the start-finish line. Not at all over for AJ Stravato, looking for his 5th win of the season. And he is actually closing in a little bit. That time by looks a bit closer. Let's see what the difference is at the line. Half a second faster. Thank you for the subscription, King Sloshbuckler. 12 months, a whole year, man. Thank you so much. We got a battle on our hands brewing once again for the race lead, as Mayato's gotten it away from Stravato, but Stravato closing back in. Keith struggling just a little bit here late in this run. They're approaching the lap car. Brett Sommers, very easy to make mistakes when passing. AJ definitely really good under braking. Even if he gets that back end loose, he's still able to somewhat control the slide. Very impressive. You don't see that a whole lot here on iRacing. Once the back end gets loose, it's sometimes unsavable. And a lot of micro adjustments, I think, with the steering wheel. And you can see him kind of riding it. Puts the foot to the floor and it's wobbling all over the place. Not quite the death wobble that'll be unsavable completely, but he is really using as much power as he can. Down into the backstretch chicane. Mayato a little bit slow on entry there, but big correction there from the 48. That'll cost him some time for sure, getting back up to speed. No real battles to speak of on the racetrack. Everybody's separated by quite a distance, other than maybe right here, Tony Baird, Safe Ferris, as Safe coming back up towards the top 10. He's got about a second to go. And here comes Tony Baird, though, going to try and make the pass. Side by side into the backstretch chicane. Doesn't really work very well, but they're going to make it work. Is the 98 way wide there? Safe going to pull back alongside. This costs them a lot of time to do that. Here comes Cody Adkins, who is a lap down. Cody ended up bringing it down pit road. He's going to go to the outside of Safe Fares. This is not going to be easy either, as he is going to slam the cone there into Safe. The orange cone's getting a workout here today, as Keith Mato has pulled a bit out in front of Stravato. 5 laps remaining, the gap 2 seconds to the 48 car. But once again, any mistakes from the 36 could cost him the win. And look at that wiggle there. So no real battles. Closest cars together would be Safe Fares and Tony Baird, 1.2 seconds apart. Also, Nick Starling up here in the 9th position. He is about 1.2 back from Mark Emerson, who you see go off the racetrack. Emerson into the wall. Mark Emerson into the tire barrier, backs it up and back on the racing surface. Could cost him another spot. Here comes Tony Baird right to the back bumper. Let's take a look at what happened to Mark. Really hot into that corner. It looked like he just missed the braking zone and then taps it off the tire barrier. Reverse very quickly. And then back out into the traffic here. But that 98 car has not been afraid to make some moves. As the 32 off into the grass for a second there, and he has to really save it right there. That's going to allow Tony Baird the run down low. Should be able to complete the pass here, and Safe, might be able to take a shot at a pass as well, but he is going to back out of it. And Mark Emerson actually going to challenge to get alongside the 98, but he cannot get it under control before he gets to the turn. Kind of pinches off the 44, and Mark Emerson falling out of the top 10 late in this race. Keith Mato starting to stretch it out once again. We saw stage 1. He was up to over 5 seconds in front of AJ Stravato. And showing off that early race speed once again. You can see him starting to wheel it around these corners. Finding a good flow, good rhythm. With not a ton of pressure from behind. AJ starting to struggle with the tires as well. Very similar looking to how Mark Emerson was sliding around there. But this is going to be the most intense battle on the track. These 3 cars under a blanket. Emerson able to get back past Tony Baird, and the 98 really struggling. Here comes Safe Fares, going to look to the outside. And he'll use that outer line, which is sometimes an option in this end of the racetrack. But not able to get it done, but still alongside the 98, down into the transition corner. Still side by side they go. No advantage really. Maybe Safe a little advantage, but he is going to struggle with putting the power down there. Here comes Tony Baird around the outside. And the longer they battle, the farther Mark Emerson pulls away. Up the road about 7 seconds. Dennis Faircloth starting to put the pressure on Nick Starling. Nick's car nice and clean. No damage at all. And Dennis, well, maybe not quite the same situation there. He's got some nose damage. Got some rear end damage. Got some left side, some right side. But Nick really off on that chicane there. That's going to cost him the spot. He'll fall to 9th. Nice big gap back to Mark Emerson, though. You can see Nick really starting to struggle with the tires, but without any major mistakes, should be able to get a nice solid top 10, a very much needed top 10 out of this event tonight. Here's a battle as well. Eric Gallion, Seth Hatchell. Gallion losing 4th position. Hatchell taking over that spot. Seth up a couple spots from where he started. Eric Gallion up 5 positions. Both having great races and so far really good seasons To this point, 33 has not been able to get a victory yet, but can't really beat the start to the year that he has had. Very good outings in each race, and has led some laps here and there. So good, strong performance. We're about to come to 2 laps to go. Keith Maotto out in front by 3 seconds over AJ Stravato. Another 17 back, or another, rather 15 back to Chris Simard, who is on an island here. He's got 8 seconds behind him and 15 seconds in front of him. And unless those two up front really make some massive mistakes, not going to have a shot to win this thing, but a good podium run for him tonight. Maotto stretching it out even more now, 4.2 seconds, 4.3 seconds over Stravato. He'll work to the left side of Dennis Steele. And Dennis now going 2 laps down, 23rd position. He's got AJ Stravato closing in. And Hatchell able to secure that 4th spot pretty well, up 1.7 seconds from the 33. Jeremiah Vincent starting to close in on Tony Baird, who's had some issues here. Safe Fair is able to bypass both the 32 and the 98. And he's up in the 10th spot right now. And Safe, who started 3rd, I believe got some stage points, not totally sure, but has had some issues here. The car a bit beat up on the rear and the right side. But in a solid top 10 position right now, much needed. He could potentially lock himself in with a run like this. Getting close to the white flag. Keith Maotto through the front stretch chicane. Nice and smooth. Makes the right hand, then the left hand up onto the oval. The tri-oval. And across the start-finish line. White flag in the air for the Chuck Hill Trucking 150 from Daytona Road Course. Not as eventful of a race as the one at Road America, I'll say. It's a lot harder to find room to pass. Very technical track here. Not that Road America isn't, but it's just a little bit different. That race was a bit closer by comparison, and this race, it's really been a 2-car dominating performance. And Maotto and Stravato, who have been really some of the fastest cars all season long. Keith, no race wins, but race-winning speed for sure. Finally getting a chance to show it here without any significant mistakes other than the kind of blown corner on the restart. I'm just hoping for nothing to be in the way, but Dallas Sullivan, his car's a bit worse for wear now on the right side than it was earlier, but hanging on tough here in the top 10. Dennis Faircloth right there in front of him was able to move past into 7th. And then Nick Starling here in 9th. Safe Fair is currently 10th, but that battle is not over. Mark Emerson starting to close back in. And these guys really wheeling it. Both damaged race cars. Car that is not damaged, that is Keith Maotto. That 36 machine has been in control all race long. 29 laps led. And he let the 48 borrow the lead here for the rest of the laps, but he's going to end up leading 30 and on his way to his first victory of the season, locking himself into the playoffs through the victory. 5 more playoff points. Keith Maotto will win at the Daytona Road Course and gets the monkey off his back here in the field. Might want to be concerned. AJ Stravato, good race from him. Really had a good shot at it there. Ends up about 5.5 seconds back at the checkered flag. Chris Simard working towards that start-finish line. Looks like he will finish 3rd here tonight. Great race from Chris as well. Nice, clean race car from him. Seth Hatchell, his teammate, 4th. Eric Gallion, fantastic race from him. He'll end up in the 5th spot. Eric Hutton, 6th position. Having a little fun there. Dennis Faircloth, able to recover, bounces back up to 7th. So very good performance in the end. Dallas Sullivan, 8th place, good run. Nick Starling, 9th. Mark Emerson makes it past Safe Ferris in the last couple of corners. He'll finish in 10th position. Safe Ferris back to 11th. But your race winner, Keith Mayato, almost all the way back around again. I think he just took the oval. Or actually, he just in turns 1 and 2. I always get confused from this view. It looks like just coming out of turn 2. Down the back stretch here. But Keith Mayato, your race winner, putting on a heck of a show for us here tonight. Started on the pole, leads 30 of 40 laps. And it was not all his way, but when he got out in front, it was all his way. But had to make a pass, had to make a recovery from a mistake. So could have very easily gone a different direction for him tonight, like we've seen so many times this season. But he'll win tonight's race. We're going to go to a commercial break and be right back with the post-race interviews.
Welcome to V-Speed, your home for sim racing excitement, providing dramatic moments from iRacing and beyond. We offer broadcasting for leagues across iRacing with specialized packages to help grow your league and advertise your sponsors.
Shot at it, I think, and right now Stravato with that advantage. It's half a car length the difference between first and second going into turn 1. He gives the bumper to Connor Horn.
These two have gone all year to get to this point. Jacob Shorba drifting up the racetrack. They make contact. The 88 goes around. The 95 goes around. The 12 caught in it.
Our design team can help you create anything from paint schemes to sim rig parts with expertise in both 2D and 3D design with 3D printing capabilities. Looking to get into broadcasting yourself? We can help you design and operate custom overlays to make your stream look as professional as possible. Our team can create and manage custom merchandise sales for you and your team. Check out our shop to see what we have in stock and how we can create some awesome merch for you. Check out our race replays on YouTube or catch us live weekly on Twitch. Visit us at vspeedsim.com to see how we can help you on your iRacing journey. V-Speed is proud to be partnered with Below the Double Yellow podcast, a podcast for NASCAR fans by NASCAR fans. Listen to Nick and Joe discuss all the latest on-track action, available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
V-Speed is also proud to present the 2021 Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, brought to you by the American Trucking Association, starting January 14th, 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursdays at twitch.tv/vspeedsim. Back at the racetrack now. Going to be bringing up our race winner, Keith Mayato. We'll see if we can get him in here. Keith Mayato, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
And 4.
Well, Keith, you got the monkey off your back finally. You take a very dominating performance to victory lane here tonight, leading 30 of 40 laps. You had the car to beat all race long, but a little mistake there on the midpoint restart. Do you think you might have let it slip away, or what was really the goal there afterwards to try and chase down the 48?
It's I don't think it was just that one. It almost seemed like I just kept throwing myself under the bus, just making it way more difficult. Yeah, that mistake on the restart didn't help, and unfortunately, I put my teammates in situations they didn't want to be in, and I feel bad for that one. But after that, I hit like the turtles in the bus stop, and that really set me back. And I don't know if I got damage off of that because I hopped both of them, but it was a battle, right? I saw AJ up there, and I was like, I can't let this one get away. I'm like, this. It just feels like I'm dominant the first half of the race, and then I somewhat fall apart or get involved in something at the end. So it was nice to get everything back together again and make my way past them.
Yeah, definitely a great job there to catch back up. We saw AJ kind of start to lose the rear end grip, and then looks like he kind of cooled off the tires. You guys were about a second and a half apart, and then after that kind of drove away like you did in stage number 1. But you win the stage. That's your 5th of the season, and now the race victory going to give you a good amount of playoff points. With just one race remaining, how nice does it feel to actually get a victory here in the regular season before we head on to that section of the season?
It's nice to finally get one off because I thought like I probably had at least maybe another 1 or 2, but circumstances didn't let that happen. So it's nice just to get one in the regular season and hopefully build some consistency for the round of 16.
Yeah, we'll see if you can do that. First, we got to go to Darlington next week, the regular season finale. What are your thoughts on going out there?
Should be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun, especially if we get a big 30-car field. It's gonna be a little hectic. But Darlington's always fun. Just got to keep it clean, and that's the hardest thing to do is just keeping it off the wall. So if I can do that all night, then I should be competitive towards the end.
Yes, sir, and that has been the name of the game all season long. We've seen you at the race speed for sure, winning speed, and just not able to avoid some of the wrecks. But you do that tonight. You had control of the race, and you take home your first victory. I said it's kind of a bad sign for everybody else. Might have opened the floodgates now that you got the first one out of the way. But a heck of a win here. And anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to my teammates for giving me that space when I needed it. They didn't have to, but they were willing to do it. So I'm thankful for that. Shout out to yourself, Adam, and the great job you do with V-Speed and broadcasting. Untitled Trucking for sponsoring the race tonight, and that'll be it.
Awesome, Keith. Well, once again, congrats on the win, your first of the season, and a great way to start headed towards the playoffs. And we'll catch up with you next week at Darlington.
We'll see what we can do. Have a good night, Adam.
All right. Thanks, Keith. That is your race winner for Team V-Speed, Keith Mayato, getting his first of the season. Let's see if we can go to second place finisher, AJ Stravato. We'll see if we can get a picture of his car on track here. But he might have taken it behind the wall early after the end of the race. Either way, we'll pull him up into the booth. AJ Stravato. There he is. Trying to pull him up here. Having an issue with the Discord. Here we go. AJ Stravato, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy.
Yep.
Well, AJ, it was you and Keith tonight, and that was pretty much it. You two were on an island of your own out there. Second place finish for you after a really great battle between you two for quite a few laps there in stage 2. Explain to us just, how you felt about the car tonight, how the race went for you, and, if there's anything you could have done to maybe take the win away tonight.
Yeah, I made a little bit too many mistakes in corners. I've just been, I think, struggling at this entire time with this road course. Just that last chicane on that front stretch and just a couple braking zones. Keith was just out braking me, and I just make a couple mistakes like he kind of did all night. And I think that last run was just me not saving the rears like I could have. I had perfect position with about a 2-second lead, and I just could not get the power down all night like Keith could. I think he would gain a 10th or 2 every time we'd get onto the straightaway. So it was just a battle in that, and we had a good battle. He had every right to move me out of the way. He was definitely quicker than me. I think in that one tight right-hander, he just outbraked me, and I wasn't expecting it. But a lot of fun. Gave Keith a battle. I know a lot of people this week were, just in awe of his speed, and I knew I had speed like he did, just struggling a little bit, I think, those last couple laps on the long run. So we'll go back to work, but Keith earned that one, and really cool to run with him all race because I know he's a really good racer on these road courses.
Yeah, definitely a very quick road course racer. I know we talked about that after the race last week, but yeah, I mean, you put on a show for us here that you were wheeling that thing all race long. There were so many times where I thought you got on the brakes too late, too hard, and the back end started to come around a little, and then you just drifted through the turn, which I was saying I haven't really seen that from anybody here on iRacing. Usually once the back end starts to slip out, it's kind of sayonara from there, Yeah. But just kind of talk us through, balancing the car and trying to keep it, underneath you in those circumstances.
Well, I think the right guy to ask is Keith. He did a little bit of a better job than I did. Yeah, there was a couple of times that I was a little bit out of control, but that's what you got to do. Keith was just, I don't know if it was the brake bias or what. I'd been messing with it all past couple of days, and whenever I've driven here, I just can't seem to find that right braking point. I think he was just better on that than me. So yeah, there's times I slid a couple of times and slid. It really I think cost me the tires, but it was just a fine line. The car was, it's just it's kind of like driving a boat with these things. So it's just a matter of maintaining as much grip as you possibly can without the run, and just being smooth. I think that's the main thing, and just hitting your marks when you're braking. And a couple times on that second run, we really didn't do that, and it cost us, as you saw, probably about 5 seconds overall. But I'll take it. I just think if I pit maybe a lap sooner than I think Keith, that first green flag run we had before the stage, I think I could have maybe got to him because fresh tires were definitely big there, and I was starting to gain on him towards the end. But I'll take a second place. It's been either winning or wrecking, so I'll take finishing second to a really good road course racer and getting some good points.
Yeah, definitely a good way to rebound after the result that it was unexpected last week at Talladega. We have one race left in the regular season at Darlington next week. So what are your thoughts on going out there and heading on into the playoffs afterwards?
I love Darlington. It's one of my favorite tracks. It's one of the most challenging courses out there, and I love a challenge. So I'll be looking forward to it. That was one of the tracks I had circled on my calendar because it's definitely one of the quicker ones, I feel like, for me overall. So just hope we can go out there and do what we know we can, and hopefully my teammates can get a good run as well. I know Josiah had something wrong with his computer all race today, and I think Jeremiah had a decent run, so hope they can get in the playoffs, and we can defend our title as a team and everything from there.
Yeah, we'll see if that's going to be possible. I think it's going to be tougher for those guys. You're already locked in, well locked in with the 4 wins. If you win next week, you've won half the regular season races. So something to keep in mind there. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Definitely a bit of a wild card, and should be fun to watch. But second place tonight, after starting on that front row in second, you lead 10 laps. The only other driver to lead laps other than the 36, and just about 5 seconds back there at the end. But a great race. Anybody want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, first off, my buddy Dan Asher, I want to give a special shout out to him. Check him out on Twitter. He does some of my paint work. I think he just got approved. I think he's in the works to have a Plan B car in the truck series run in real life. So super stoked for him. He does great work. Check him out on Twitter. Dan Asher Designs. Chucko Trucking for sponsoring the race. You, Adam, you do a hell of a job. Always love watching these broadcasts, and you're a good guy. So always cool to talk with you after the race, and just all my teammates and the league for putting together a great league and a lot of fun. So always look forward to this on Thursday, and hope we can finish out the season next week strong.
Yes, sir. We'll see if you can do that indeed. But heck of a season again. The second season in a row, you've been the dominant car, and a lot of fun watching you out here. So good luck, or have a great race tonight, and good luck next week if we don't get to talk to you before then.
All right, brother. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you. So that was second place finisher AJ Stravato. We're going to pull up third place finisher Chris Simard. And pretty quick here with Chris. Chris, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Chris, you weren't quite up there to fight for the race win, but you were definitely the third fastest car here tonight. Those two kind of, in a zip code of their own, but you were in your own zip code as well. Huge gap both forwards and backwards behind you. Some good speed out here at a difficult racetrack. Give us a rundown of your race, how you feel you did, and ultimately how you feel about the result.
To be honest, this feels like a win for me. I don't really get podium finishes for road courses. I'm usually 5th, 6th, 7th, somewhere around there. So this is awesome. My race went good. Start off, I pitted early. That got me some track position at the end there. I think Seth would have passed me if he wasn't checking up for an accident before the stage when I was coming out of the pits. But that helped me out. That I was kind of in my own bubble tonight. No one around me really. I was just taking my time, and it certainly benefited for me. So.
Yeah, definitely helps to kind of race the track and not necessarily have any cars around you to put the pressure on. It can, kind of force those mistakes. But it seemed, your car was totally clean. And then we did point out the strategy early on. That does seem to have helped you because I think you gained 2-3 spots out of that before the end of stage number 1. But a great race here, and we're closing in on the end of the regular season. You come into this one about 6th in points. I think you lock yourself in with this performance, so got to feel good about that. And going to Darlington next week, what are your thoughts on going there?
Well, I love Darlington, so anything can happen. Just mainly got to stay off the wall, and the fact that we've been having a really good car count is going to make it interesting. It's kind of going to make it crazy, probably, but. Just gotta stay off the wall and race the track. I mean, Darlington, you might get a little bit of a stripe, but as long as it's not too bad, you can still be up there. So I love it. It's one of my favorite tracks. So we'll see what happens, and I'm really happy that I'm probably gonna be in the chase now. So I'm just going for wins now. So
yeah, I think you are locked in. You were kind of the first car not completely locked in, but still really big margin. I think tonight's race essentially, locks you in without a doubt. So great performance here, finishing third. You start 7th, so a good amount of positions gained start to finish, and some momentum headed towards the end of the regular season here. So anybody you want to give a shout out to for your podium finish?
Oh yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to you, Adam, in the V-Speed booth. You do a great job. I say it every time that I'm up here. You doing it by yourself. I don't know how you do it, but you do an awesome job. I love going back to watch the broadcasts. My teammates, they always give me room. I give them room. We're a good group. The sponsor for tonight, Chuck Hill Trucking 150. Thank you for coming on board and helping us out. That's awesome. And my wife and son.
Awesome, Chris. Well, always a pleasure to have you up here in the booth after the races. nice solid podium finish for you here tonight, and we'll catch up with you soon. But have a great night.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. I know it's been a while since I've been up here, but it's nice talking to you. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll see more of it as we get into the playoffs here. I think you found kind of a nice groove here late in the season. So hopefully you keep it up, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Sure.
All right, thanks, Chris. And that was third place finisher Chris Simard. Probably dropped him out of the booth there a little too quick, my bad. But good finish for him in third. And let's go to the rest of the race results here tonight at the Daytona Road Course for the Chuck Hill Trucking 150. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and sticking around for this broadcast. One of the longer, well, actually not too long of a race. Really just 40 laps, but went by pretty cleanly. Keith Mayato, dominating performance, leads 30 laps on his way to his first victory of the season after starting on the pole. AJ Stravato finishes in second, right where he started. He leads 10 laps, and really the only competitor for the 36 tonight. If he was not here, it would have been an absolute blowout, but it made it interesting to have that 48 car in contention. The 37 of Chris Simard finishes third. Seth Hatchell, his teammate, in the fourth position, so 3 V-Speed Camaros in the top 5. Eric Gallion finishing in fifth. Very good run for him. Eric Hutton finishes in sixth. A good run. Dennis Faircloth rebounds up to 7th. Dallas Sullivan, a very impressive race for him in 8th. Nick Starling finishes in 9th, a much-needed top 10. And Mark Emerson finishes in the 10th spot here tonight. Some mistakes kind of setting him back towards the end of stage 1 and the end of the race here. 11th place, Safe Fares gets passed on the last lap. Tony Baird finishes in 12th. Jeremiah Vincent 13th, Ryan Gemmell 14th, 15th was Nick Alves, 16th Eric Lambert. Solid run, last car on the lead lap, but solid 16th place run for Eric here, one of his better ones of the season. Brett Somers finishes in 17th, first car one lap down. Brandon Vasquez 18th, Cody Adkins 19th, and the 70 of Lyle Selfridge rounds out the top 20. 21st was Alan Dice, 22nd Lane Selfridge, 23rd Dennis Steele, 24th Kyle Payne, 25th Timmy Emanuele, 26th Kevin Cornelius, and 27th Joey Mines. Those are all the drivers that I believe completed the race. Drivers that had early exits: TJ Brendel in 28th, Dylan Teal 29th, and Josiah Vincent with computer issues going to round out the top 30. And it's going to be one that hurts him in the standings, being right around that cut line. Nick Gardner, last week's winner, early exit from him with the blown engine, 31st. 32nd Robert Gilmore, 33rd Jordan Brockle, and rounding out the field tonight, Zach Smith in 34th position. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Thank the sponsors for the series and the race tonight: Chuck Hill Trucking, American Trucking Association, Illinois Trucking Association, and so many more. Simulators Anonymous, Boston Web Marketing. Also the sponsors for the channel. If you're interested in learning more about some of those sponsors, we've got links in the About page on the channel here on Twitch. You can check those out and help support the channel through those different products and services. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the links on your screen if you want to stay up to date with what we're doing. You can also check us out at vspeedsim.com to learn more about the different services we offer. And we are going to be back next Wednesday with the Virtual Racing League. Still early in their season, but we had the week off this week, and next week also going to be wrapping up the regular season here with the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series at Darlington. Should be a fun one there, so don't want to miss those, and we will catch you all then. We're going to jump in with David Schildhouse to wrap up the night, and once again, thank you, and have a great night.